Alright, we are finally at the bosses part of the guide. Now, I do want to let you guys know Phase 3 isn't the only bosses I will be doing. I will be doing the rest. My Peril Showdown guide part 1 and 2 applies to all phases 1, 2, and 3. It is just that in Phase 3, there's many players who does comment but does not understand or know that you need to meet the DPS quota of 150,000 or 150k for short. And if you can't reach this quota, you can't enter Masters, where the real rewards are at for the cool looking mimicry skins. Now, this DPS quota is personal, meaning you yourself must reach that DPS. It's not based on the whole team. This is the main reason why I wanted to make this guide for all phases, but doing bosses for Phase 3 first, since it's so different than Phase 1 and 2, where you just clear for perfect victory to proceed. While in Phase 3, you can rerun it with the best team in the world for common, but if you yourself can't reach that 150k DPS, you cannot enter Masters. So that's why in this video I will be going over mechanics on what these bosses do, showcasing first boss, which is the second hardest to meet DPS quota since it's Revenant, while using the EMG gun with 281 attack power with level 1 attachment, green stock, and muzzle, keeping only sight at level 19 with chips that I showed in part 2 of my guide. And of course, this starts with roles. Now roles, it will be split into 3 categories. This is just structure. Anyone can do any of these roles, just that some certs can do it better than others. So we got a role that focuses in mechanics, prioritizes targets. Any certs can do this, but I recommend light weapon certs to do these due to mobility. You have to move around a lot. And then we got the DPS role that focus boss damage, high priority targets. This role is mainly for high damage players. Snipers will always be on this role. They're number 1, followed by riflemen. And finally, the clearer role, which means the guys that focuses small zombies or group them up to kill and keep away from the team. Reserved to players who are strong at clearing a group of enemies, and then they can help out either the mechanic guys or the DPS role when they are able to. Now all these roles play a purpose. Clearers helps DPS, and mechanic player focus on their objectives and help either or, and the mechanic ties everything together, making sure everyone succeeds, most of the time preventing wipes. And then DPS that are the win condition for the team, killing the boss, not prolong it, otherwise the boss enters frenzies and we all die. So one thing in common you may have noticed, once every role fulfill their part, they can help each other out with helping with high priority targets or focus the boss for DPS. So choose your role before entering, makes everyone's run easier. This will be played for every boss role section of the guide in future as well, just for a constant reminder so everyone knows what they have to do. But of course, roles will differ depending on boss, and I will be going over each changes for each role for each bosses. Now finally, let's get started with this video. So here, this is how you can check what is your DPS quota. So you're going to click on the 4 little boxes, top right corner, Peril Showdown, and then you're going to select what phase. We're at Phase 3 as an example, so I'm going to click Phase 3, and I'm in common. Click on that little arrow on the bottom right, Masters. There you go. That's how you can check your DPS quota. And since I've already done it, it doesn't show you anything, shows no number. So here's an example with an account that hasn't done it yet. So here, this is how you can go ahead and check for Peril Showdown. Now there is a little icon sometimes on the top right side corner. You can click on that too and it can pop up. But for me, I like click on the little box. I'm so used to it, and then Peril Showdown. So here, make sure you're at Phase 3. These are the bosses. Go to Masters, bottom right corner, and there's the number. So it shows you the number what you need to meet for your DPS quota. 150k for Ultimate Knight, Fallen Eye Sniper, then 120k for the Knight. And the last one is 150k, although it doesn't show who it is. But I've showed you as the first example with my account. Alright, so for this role on the first boss, there's no zombies to clear, so we're going to be ignoring the clearer role. There's only going to be two roles, which are the mechanics and DPS. Mechanic wise, I mean, it's not really about preventing team wipes, it's more about focusing, target priority. That's what we're going to be doing. So it's going to be a combination of both DPS and the prioritization of what you need to kill, which is the gas canister in this case. Move around when he does his flamethrower. I'm going to be going in slow motion for each of these abilities that the boss does. That way you guys know what you're looking for and avoid it, and keep DPSing as much as you can. Alright, now this is what the first boss do. So if you're close around 5 to 10 meters, he will shotgun you to the face, do a lot of damage. Poor Chloe here, she got shotgun to the face, she was a bit too close. I'm gonna slow it down if it was a bit too fast, because I kid you not, it does so much damage. You want to keep your distance and kite the boss at a safe distance while shooting. And then he targets everyone. You must stay separated. If you're not separated, you will stun each other, take a lot of damage, and you want to keep consistently DPSing. You don't want to get stunned. And then occasionally he also throws out the little grenade, and then he leaves like a purple EM field at the ground. Try to avoid that as much as you can. That way you don't get stunned and get damage. And then he will target a player with an EM canister. It's going to be like a big red circle around the player, the light beam coming out of its head. And once it spawns, you must focus fire on it, otherwise it damages everyone constantly until you are dead or it is destroyed. And then he goes to the middle, spins around using the ice flamethrower. Try not to get hit by it. You can still DPS the boss using shotgun, but otherwise, if you're not comfortable with doing that, just run around until it ends. And then lastly, whenever someone is really far away, he will use an acid bow to snipe that person who's really far away from the boss. And for you to block that damage, you can use a bubble drone or have a player to tank for you by standing in front of the boss at the line of sight. And then a little bit of a bonus, when the boss reaches around 20% HP, he will go to the middle, the same while using the flamethrower, but as I'm showing here, he stops and then goes the other way around. So you want to be prepared when he does that, otherwise you get wiped. And then lastly, another bonus, once the boss reaches 40% HP, this is what I've noticed consistently, he will then target 2 players for the gas canister or the EM canister that you then need to destroy it ASAP, otherwise it's so much damage. And I didn't get the clip here unfortunately, but sometimes he does target a player with a fire howitzer, but if that player is targeted, just stay away from that ring of fire. It's like orange colored, otherwise you take damage. But that's pretty much all what the boss does. I was able to go ahead and get a lot of the clips on what he does, but yeah, otherwise this is the run. Green attachment, sneak peeked it on the first guide video towards the end. This is the full entirety of it, and I will also be showing you the stats at the end, what's my damage bonus, crit chance, etc. But otherwise, sit back and enjoy, and thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and give me a like, and comment down below if this helped you out in meeting that DPS quota for the first boss in phase 3. Peace out.